Welcome to this episode of Look, Listen, Laugh. Now, my guest is a great comedian. He's performed all over the world. He's originally from Venezuela, but now calls Australia home. I'm looking forward to delving into his favorite album, film, and book. So enjoy my conversation with Ivan Aristeguieta. Ivan, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming along and doing this today.
This is great. I love your studio.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. So the set design and everything.
Amazing. I love the velvet. Velvet is always good.
Velvet, the velvet and the gold.
Yeah.
Because with this, like I was saying before, when I first started thinking of doing this podcast, I thought, most of people listen to it on Spotify or on, Apple or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like to visually, like if I'm taking the time for you to sit down and invest sort of, your time into this, why not do it right,
You're doing it great.
So we do it with the 3 cameras, which people can watch on YouTube and what have you as well.
And there's a lot of people working behind the cameras.
Oh yeah, look at them all. Yeah,
the crew,
the whole crew, the catering department.
Thanks for the coffee.
Yeah, it's
good.
The grip,
Yep.
We got it all. So how you been?
Great.
You've been very busy of late, just flying all over the country, doing all these comedy festivals and.
Yes, but not busy in the head, because I'm doing a best of show. It's not a brand new show, so I'm just enjoying, and I just press play inside my head when I go on stage, and I have the best time. There's no worries about if this joke is working in the right place. There's no arc in this show. It's just a 1 hour of stand-up of my favorite jokes of the last 10 shows.
Great.
So I'm having the best time.
So it's like a greatest hits tour.
It's a greatest hits. That's why it's called All Bangers No Mash.
Yeah, it's a great title.
It's full of protein. Yeah, it's just the protein.
And
no carbs.
How do you find it when you're going? Because with this, you can just hit the ground running, and it's fine. But how do you find it when you're developing a new show and do you work on it throughout the year to get up at comedy clubs and do it, or do you do it in a chunk and get up and?
Well, 70% of the show will be tried in clubs and just tried new material, and then the last 30% out of is just a big chunk in trial shows. So I usually do trial shows like 6 or 7 before the festival starts, and I do from 45 minutes to a full hour.
Yeah,
and that's when I start figuring out the order of the jokes, what the show is really about, because you have an idea what the show is about, and then the show tells you, no, this is what it is about.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. I totally get it. It's like when working on a new bit, you go, here's the, and then hang on, no, that's the part that's actually the funniest part that I got to focus on.
Yes.
Like the audience kind of assists you in the writing process.
Yes, and also the excitement that you feel inside when you talk about something, like you don't notice that. I feel this guttural reaction when I talk about this, and just thinking about it, you go through your set list. Oh, this is about the same thing. This is about the same thing. I didn't notice, and then you go, oh, the show is about this.
Yeah.
But you always have to have like an idea what the show is about, and then you rearrange it.
Sure.
It's like we're gonna talk about books, and do you know? Have you seen that movie about Charles Dickens? Is called the something like the man who invented Christmas, or the man who created Christmas.
No, I haven't.
It's a great Christmas movie. It's about what's the name of the
Christmas Carol.
Christmas carols, the process in the writing.
Yeah.
And when the actor, the guy who plays Charles Dickens in the movie will get in his studio, and the characters will be there with him, and he talks to them. He's like, tell me, what's happening? Where am I going? And when he's lost in his story, the characters let him know what the book is about. So I feel a similar thing. Like the show is telling me, it's about this, man. You just take a closer look, and you're actually talking about this same subject in these jokes without even noticing.
Yeah, it's great to be able to go to that place to have that, kind of, you go a bit off the beaten path, and that's where, letting your mind run wild and having those ideas is where the gold is.
Yeah.
You know, and I talk about in my show, like the idea of like the death of daydreaming today, like any spare moment that you get, you're either, the phone comes out, like these moments where we used to let our mind run free if we were waiting at a bus stop or sitting in a cafe, but now
Absolutely.
the phone's out.
Absolutely. There's no, you actually outside your head when you're focusing something that is outside your head.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, you're not talking to. For me, the best tool for daydreaming is a dog, because you have to walk the dog, and if you can't walk on the streets and take care of a dog and look at the phone at the same time, and if you do it, you're a terrible human being.
Right. That's what I think. I've thought that when I've seen people walking the dog or pushing the pram, the baby, and they're on their phone. It's like, man, there's like a total detachment here from the immediate thing in front of you that you should be nurturing or caring for.
One of my favorite jokes, which wasn't a joke, but it's a fun observation of my last year's show, happened walking my dog, and it was a perfect daydreaming situation. For some reason, I was thinking about the word archery, which is, it will never happen if you're looking at the phone. Like, it will come to your brain.
Yeah.
And I like words, and I like, because Spanish is my first language and then English, so I go, where the words come from, and if there's a way I can connect, and I go, well, archery in Spanish is arquería, and then archer is arquero, and bow in Spanish is arco, and I go, okay, arquería, arquero, arco. In Spanish, they all have the same. It's the same progression. It's a progression of the same word. Right. Arquería, arquero, arco. But in English, it's archery, archer, bow.
Right.
And I went like, why bow? And I started thinking about what bow is, like this shape. And this all happened walking my dog. This is one shot. This all happened walking my dog. This shape is the shape of an arch. McDonald's, golden arches, the arch of your foot. I was like, what else has this shape? And I went, oh, a rainbow, bow, fuck. There it is. And I messaged my wife, because she speaks English, she's Australian, and I go, is this a thing? Did you know that the bow it's arch, and the rainbow is arch after the rain?
Yeah.
It's the rain arch.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking about it, like an elbow. Oh, that's the joint you use when you pull an arch. And then when you bow, your body has got the shape of an arch, which is the same spelling of bow.
Yeah.
So and I was like, okay, this is a great observation. How am I going to put this in a joke format? And it's all, for me, it's all about the premise. So the premise is, comedians, we do nothing all day. And our job as comedians is to think about stuff when the audience is busy working.
Sure.
Because there has to be, our job is to think about stuff where everybody else is busy.
Yeah.
Because they don't have time to think about stuff.
No.
And then you go, I thought this is my thought for you. This is my daydreaming moment, because you're being too busy. You don't have time to daydream.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're like one step away from someone on the dole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or essentially,
But someone on the dole doesn't have the place and the time to pass on that information.
Sure. Yeah. They got to get up at an open mic and give it a whirl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is interesting, because I've noticed with your stand-up before, which I love about it, that deconstruction of the English language and of our observations, and it kind of reminded me. George Carlin used to focus on that. Like he was like the master of just deconstructing the language that we have. And but for you to come at it from a different angle, with your native tongue being Spanish, I would imagine that just it naturally comes to you to question, like, hang on, what do you mean by that? What is this saying that you're throwing out there that you don't even think about, but that is actually absurd or
absurd, and sometimes it's not just because it sounds weird. It's because I want to remember this. how can I remember this new word? And you try to find patterns in your language that might connect somehow to remind you this word.
Sure.
And that's where, and I think it's fascinating because I think comedians, we're communicators. That's, a friend told me once, he said the difference between a funny guy and a comedian is the funny guy, it's in the moment. And to enjoy something that a funny guy said, you have to be there. You have to be there.
Yeah.
And the comedian takes you there. That's the difference.
Yeah, the comedian creates that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Night after night after
night after night after night.
Yeah.
So we have to be good communicators to bring people with a few words to that moment, that feeling, that emotion.
Sure.
And the most precise information.
Yep.
Just the bare minimum of information.
You're being economical with the way of communicating that. Because there's such fragility to it.
Yeah.
You know, you say a few too many words.
Yeah.
Or you say too less, they haven't been able to bridge that gap.
Yes.
But it's even interesting too if you stumble, or you get to the punchline, you stumble, it kind of takes away the...
Oh, man.
You know?
And you tell me I've stumbled so many times, so I have to practice the correct pronunciation. And now I'm wearing braces, it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And I'm used to it now, but when I started, I take mental health medication, and one of the side effects for me is dry mouth. So I drink a lot of water.
Right.
And so I have dry mouth, and you have to talk, and
I remember that feeling when I was younger, getting up and when I at school had to give a speech at school, and you get that dry mouth, and you start thinking everyone else can hear this too. They know this. They know. Probably no one's noticing, but in our mind it just becomes this bigger thing than it needs to be.
So back to what you're saying, we're communicators, and I pay a lot of attention to words because what's the best word to say here, and I think we like words. That's what we do.
Sure.
And we have to be very precise with words. And sometimes there's comedy already when you think about words.
Yes.
Yeah.
and how did you? Because you started off doing comedy back in Venezuela, and you were doing it obviously in Spanish, and then translate. But you knew English though. When you were younger, you learned English.
Yeah.
And so, did you ever have like when you changed to English? Were you able to translate that material to work, or did you just have a whole new? All right, so you never did any of the jokes that you?
No, because most of them were the references. It was very
localized.
It wasn't about the language; it's more about the references.
Right.
Because at the time when I was doing comedy in Venezuela, I didn't do much universal material. It was mostly about being Venezuelan. And because before I started doing comedy in Venezuela, I traveled a bit, and my jokes were about Venezuela. I was seeing from a foreigner point of view, because I know how, because I lived in Spain, I lived in Australia in 2004 and 5.
Right.
I was like, and I lived a couple of years in Spain, and then went back to Venezuela. That's when I started doing comedy. I was like, the difference is like it. Once you step outside and then come back, you can see your country from a different perspective, from a foreigner perspective, and that was mine. And it's still what I do in Australia, right?
Sure. It's like the fish out of water, coming in to observe what we all see normally, but from a different angle. Yeah. Which I've always likened to that is comedy. It's kind of like I've always found this kind of connection between philosophy and comedy. It's something that we all look at, but rather than looking at it from this angle, we're coming at it from a different angle. Yep. We're all looking at the same thing, but it's just a skewed kind of a view on...
I love that you brought that up, because I think about that so much, the thing of, are we philosophers or not? Because you've heard that, like comedians are modern day philosophers. I'm like, I've thought so much about it, and I think we're not. I think...
No, I haven't heard that, but yes,
I've heard it many times.
Here I was thinking I've got this great known idea, but
I have this much time to observe the world, and to learn about the human condition.
However,
and I think to be a philosopher is about what does it mean to be human, and a comedian is what it's funny about being human.
Yeah,
That's the big.
Sure. Two big differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
But
that.
comedy is so varied too. Well, I guess philosophy is very varied too.
Yeah.
You know, you look at there's a lot of contradiction between a lot of philosophers.
So much.
So, and you know, in comedy, there's so many different forms of comedy as well. And it's funny because it's like sometimes there's like in comedy there's kind of a snobbery from certain comedians, like, oh yeah, that's that whatever physical humor, oh whatever, or you know, observational humor. But for me, that's why I love someone like George Carlin. He had everything. He had deconstruction of the English language. He had social commentary, political commentary, physical comedy, hilarious observation comedy, and then he could do a great fart joke. You know, he wasn't above any of it.
Yes.
He could do it all. It was like, so that to me was like, yeah, he's someone who's like the master of it and does it all.
Agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Back to the philosophy and
Yes.
because after I heard this thing many times, I'm going, okay, so I have the time to think, the same time that a philosopher has. And I started reading some books about philosophy, which I've never got. I'm never at school or didn't care about that. And then I figured out that another huge difference between comedy and philosophy. Philosophy is ambiguous. It's always asking a question that, let's talk about this. Let's have a discussion about this subject because nobody knows the right answer. And comedy is so precise.
Yes.
And it's a heavy, strong opinion on one stupid thing. You cannot be ambiguous with comedy. You have to be, this is it.
Yes.
This is my point of view, and everybody else is wrong.
Right.
And that there's comedy there. But if you go, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that, that's when that's when it turns into philosophy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you have to be. It's almost like microscopic.
Yeah.
In the point and the detail and
yeah.
Who are some of your favorite philosophers? Were there any philosophical ideas that you warm to?
Well, I'm not an expert, but what was his name? It used to be he wrote about the desire and about pleasure, and the school of. It will come to my mind. Yeah. So this is a. They say that this guy. It's very common. It's a word that means when you are drawn into pleasure.
When you're drawn into pleasure, God.
You're very Epicurus. Epicurus.
Epicurus.
Yes. The Epicurean school was misunderstood because people thought. Because this guy mentioned the word pleasure so much, they thought that this guy was was living in a huge place, and he invited friends and family to live with him, and they thought they would have like these crazy orgies and crazy things, and actually the philosophy of pleasure for this guy is there's only a few things that gives humans pleasure, and we should focus on that, which is hanging out with friends and family, knowledge, and there was another one. So instead of having orgies and crazy, he was a guy who had the biggest shared house.
Having that sense of community.
Creating a sense of community.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And the things that the pleasure that you have when you do something for someone else. Yes. When you and it wasn't about eating. And now the term Epicurus is when you go and you eat a huge feast, and it's all about libation and indulging and all that, and it's not about that. Right. Yeah. But it is interesting how people will project though their own views
labeling something. That happens all the time anyway, especially today.
Yeah,
You know, you just got to read an online thread, you know.
Yeah.
People will bring their own views onto what someone says. Like, I don't think that's actually what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know? So, but no, this suits my agenda, so that's what he means. Or she means, you know.
Modern philosophers, and I don't think he's this label as philosopher. I love Joseph Campbell.
Yes, Joseph Campbell, yeah.
And he was a mythologist.
Yeah.
But I think I think it's very close to philosophy, if it's pure philosophy. It's
sure. Well, the power of the myth.
The power of the myth and understanding human beings through studying the myths, and all religions are considered to be myths. The way they tell the story to learn something about humanity, and I love that stuff. Love it, Joseph Campbell.
He had a great. I remember just warming to this quote that he had about what God is, and he says, "The true definition of God is beyond human beings' explanation or description."
Yeah.
So and I just thought, wow, it's such a lovely way of putting it.
It's like, don't waste time trying to
put it into label
words.
this.
Yeah.
But we love to label. It is, but I really liked his gentle approach too. He wasn't like dogmatic and saying this is it and this is what you must believe. And that's what I've always warmed to the people that have that kind of, you know, they're open to other beliefs and other ideas. It's like at the end of the day, Socrates said, "All I know is I know nothing at all."
Yeah.
You know, and the wisest people seem to communicate that, and it's crazy to think that we know anything anyway. Really,
it's so crazy.
I remember when I was a kid on my dad's farm, looking out at the stars, thinking, "We're a speck. We know nothing."
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking up there, and we know some of the planets in our solar system, but beyond that, we don't know what the hell's going on in Andromeda. We don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, we're just such to think that we have all this knowledge and I've always thought too, we need to get back to the basics, you know.
I love that term.
I
love it.
Because we can't even figure out how to treat each other or how to be decent or kind or compassionate or, you know, we're trying to figure out all this stuff that's beyond us when we can't get down to the basics, you know.
And back to basics is for me a very important life motto. Because I've known that every time I'm in trouble, personal, you know, disconnection or whatever, or something that's not going right in my head, back to basics is what solves or gives me a window to see. And it's even writing a joke. When I think, you know, I've got this. I'm a comedian. I can write in a joke, and then I want to talk. I have a very specific thing that I want to talk about, and write a joke about it. And when I'm forgetting the basics, the joke will never come to me. And I'm very structured at the joke process. I'll go, okay, what's the premise? If I don't get the premise, and then after the premise, well, okay, why do I think this is funny? Because this, and that. And why this, and that is funny? Okay, because this, and that. And then after I do that process, I go, here's the joke.
Right.
It's always going back to basics. When the joke's not working, back to basics.
Yes.
What's the premise and why do you think this is funny? Those are the two questions.
Yes. And it's a great rule to go with. It's easy to forget that too, because you know, I'll be working on something. Do you ever get this where you're working on something and you go, oh yeah, this is great, and then the more you work on it, you go, I don't know if this is any good.
Yeah.
You work on it so much that you kind of lose
100%.
that initial spark or that initial thought.
Yeah. And maybe it's because it's not there. You have to keep going.
Yes.
And that's when comedy gets. That's our job. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's the hard bit. Like that's when we're working. Like
you got to labor over.
And then you get. I get tired and I want to get a distraction and go make myself a coffee or watch some telly or walk the dog for the 5th time. And then
come on, I got another show to write. Come on.
Yeah, and I have to stay on it and figure it out. That's the job.
Yeah, the discipline.
Yeah, stay on it, and it hurts. It hurts when you think something's funny and then it's not, or you get to that point where you go, you don't even know if this is anything, not even a just a statement.
Yeah.
It's just
There is no premise.
There's
There is nothing.
nothing here. There's nothing.
But tell me this. This is totally off topic. When did you get the braces, and how long have you got them for?
I hate them. It's my life is so good that the only bad thing in my life is the braces.
Yeah. I know. I had them for years when I was younger. Like
Me too.
Oh shit.
This is what
So you're going round 2.
round 2, bro, and it's horrendous. So what happened? I lost a tooth on my bottom jaw. What do you call it? Bottom?
Yeah.
And it had an infection. I had my root canals, and the infection kept coming back. And they found out that the tooth was broken vertically. There was a vertical crack. And they said to me, listen, the only way to break a tooth like this is with an impact or with trauma. Have you had any impacts on your mouth? Like, no. But I do grind my teeth really bad. And they go, that's it. It happens. Like, people break their own teeth grinding at night. Because the grinding is grind. It's not just clenching, it's grinding. And sometimes I've woken up myself biting my own tongue. And painful. So, and they're like, yeah, that's what happened. And I did some research on numbers and on what was better between an implant and orthodontics. And in my case, particularly, orthodontics was better to close the gap than an implant, because I didn't have much bone space to drill and put an implant. And it's just the bottom jaw. And I was like, okay, I'll have my normal teeth on top, and I was happy with them. And they're like, no, we're moving your teeth at the bottom. We have to rearrange the bite, so we have to have braces on top. I fucking hate them.
Yeah, I know. I especially when they would tighten them. But for me, when they put the initial bits in to create the gap to put the do they still do them that way?
They don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
I remember that back in the day.
That was like
a separating thing that forces the tooth to move. Mm-hmm. So what they do now, which is fantastic. So when I was a kid, back in I think we're the same age.
Yeah, we're kids of the 80s.
Kids of the 80s. So the base of the brace was flat, and there's no flat surface in any teeth.
Right.
There's a bit of a curve.
Yes.
That's why it was so easy to take. It was like, don't chew on pencils at school, or don't chew hard stuff, because you can peel off take them apart, the braces.
Yeah.
But now they scan your teeth, and they custom make every single brace for every single tooth you have with the same curvature, a specific curvature. So when it's attached, there's no floating surface without glue.
Right.
The whole brace is touching all the surface of your tooth.
Right.
It's incredible. And the way they put them now, it's compared to the 80s and 90s, they clean your teeth, they prepare all your teeth, and all the braces are in this, they call it, I'm going to call it sleeve. Right. They're all attached to this sleeve. So they put this on the whole sleeve in all your teeth, and they stick to your teeth, and then they peel the sleeve off, and
it's ready to go.
It's ready to go. So all the braces are being glued to your teeth in one go.
Right.
Not one by one.
And do you have to get them adjusted, or this will eventually?
Yeah. So what they do, it's to close the gap, it's with rubber bands.
Right. Okay.
And at my age, the process is a lot slower than if I was a 16-year-old kid. A 16-year-old kid, the bones are very young and fresh, so you can just move.
More malleable. Yeah.
Move the crap out of the. But now because the tooth is stuck in a bone, so you have to move the tooth, and the bone has to soften little by little.
Right.
And like reopening the new space for the tooth in the final destination.
So how long have you got to do this for?
I think 1 more year.
And in hindsight, Could you have left it?
It's a front tooth.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay.
I could have left it if it was
okay.
a back teeth, because front teeth are very hard for the implants, especially and the shape
to
of
hold.
Yeah, because the
Tell me about
back
it.
teeth have a bigger base to drill.
Yeah, sure. I got to get these two front done with posts.
Oh.
Implants. It's because I had braces for years, and I remember I had them. This is when I was a teenager, and these two teeth just were dying, and so I had to get root canal done on them. But then over time, then they start turning grey. I don't want two front grey teeth, these two here. So.
So you got a veneer?
So basically initially there's trauma to those. And I've never been in a fight. I used to do martial arts, but I never got punched in the face.
Me neither.
And so the only thing I can remember was when I was a kid, my brother got my science book, which was a thick science book, and got the spine of it and just smashed it across the front of my mouth, and it just shredded all of my gums on the inside.
Oh my God.
And that was the only thing I could remember.
You should charge him for for your dental, because it's expensive.
I got quoted on, and this is ridiculous. So I had to get it ground back to a nub on both of them, and that was no anaesthetic because the root canal was done years before. So I was there getting it ground back into like tic tac teeth. They put the veneer over that one, and I was in Vegas doing the Comedy Cellar, and it was after the gig. And it was a fun night, everything great. Went with my wife and some friends to the late night diner at the casino. I bit into a club sandwich, and I just heard this crunch. And it was like that, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I just took it away. And I turned to my wife, I think did something happen? And she goes, just the look on her face of horror. And then she goes, it's not bad, it's not too bad, it's not too bad. I'm like, what's not? I feel there's no front tooth there.
Nothing.
I look at it on the camera. Oh my God! I got another week of shows to do without a front. This is gonna be like horrendous. So the next morning, my wife called up, went straight to the emergency dental guy. He put it all back in, but he said, "Look, this is only temporary.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get implants.
You have to eat soup for
for
the rest of the week."
That was 7 years ago.
This is still temporary?
I'm still temporary. This is a ticking time bomb I got.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll get it done, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't want to just be throwing around 13 grand here when I don't even know when we're going to be working again, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just went on. Well, it stayed, so we'll see.
You got to do one of those things people go to Bali to.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Me neither.
Because you got to go back again too, especially when you get an implant, because they got to pack the.
It's like 3 surgeries.
Too. And then they do the drill in, and then they put they call it a flap that they put over there, so it's not an actual, it's a temporary tooth, and then so it's like a 9-month process. So.
Yeah. Well, in my I couldn't have veneers because the vertical fracture. You have to remove the tooth because
the whole thing's got
whole thing is going to get infected and dangerous for the neighboring teeth.
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's crazy to think like back in the old days that it's like take him out.
Yeah.
We'll give you some wooden teeth, you'll be fine. It's like it worked for Washington, it'll work for us.
Yeah, was it like a mule's teeth or pig's teeth? Something weird.
Yeah, well, I know
horse teeth.
I know. President Washington, George Washington, he had wooden teeth.
Yeah.
So it's like, we'll carve it back and it'll be a nice veneer and it's lacquered. It matches the furniture. It's beautiful.
That's great.
We got, as we discussed earlier, I'm always fascinated into what people's interests are and their favourite, in this podcast, exploring the favourite album, film and book. We're going to start with your favourite album.
Yes.
And this is a great selection, none other than Bob Marley's
Exodus.
Fantastic.
This is when people ask me about what books or music or albums or movies are my favorite, I go to what I call the cheese toasty effect. Cheese toasty is a thing that you can eat every day without getting sick of it.
I love it.
So it's not a. I love paella. I love chorizo. I love spicy curries and Singaporean noodles. But I couldn't eat that every day. Cheese toasty, basic. I never get bored of cheese toasties.
Sure.
So this is an album. I had the CD when I was 14, 13, and then 16, 17 I got a car, and this is an album that I could hear on a loop without being I think Bob Marley is the cheese toasty of music. I don't think anyone will, and it doesn't, it's timeless. It doesn't, it's a music that anyone would like, and it's great. And
especially with this album, like he kind of incorporated a real kind of a funk feel in it too. And even like on Exodus, there's moments in it where he's kind of like, he's got that James Brown, you know, going throughout it. And so it truly is like world music.
Yeah.
You know, like it goes beyond Jamaican reggae.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, it's very open to the world. It's not a pinpoint specific of genre.
And it's exactly. It's world music, and it hits the nerve in every human that it's like primitive. I don't know, or there's a connection, and the way it starts with Natural Mystic with a dung dung dung, it eases you in. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Yes, great album.
And what was it that turned you onto this album?
Sorry?
What turned you onto this album? What was it that
well,
initially, like, did someone say you got to listen to this? Did you stumble across it? Or?
So Venezuela is in the Caribbean, and Aruba, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, they are very close to our coast. Very close.
Yes.
To the point that if you're on that side of the country, at night you can see lights.
Right.
Outside in the ocean, if it's a clear night, and you can see, oh, that's Aruba is there, and Curacao is there, and Trinidad is there, if you're in that part of Venezuela. So reggae and ska, which are both related, are very popular in Venezuela. It's not part of our folklore. It's not. We don't play that music. But, well, there's bands, but as in Venezuelan music, there's something about the Caribbean that we're drawn to that music.
Right.
So it's very common to have Venezuelan reggae bands, Venezuelan ska bands, and back in my days, in the 90s, when I was a teenager, there's a band called Desorden Público. It's a legendary Venezuelan band. It's ska that adds a lot of tropical Latin rhythms in it. Right. It will remind you of Cat Empire here.
Oh yeah, sure.
But with more ska.
Right.
But it's got that combination of different rhythms. There's maybe probably the 90s had a thing with reggae and ska. Like, you remember Sublime?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Sublime was a thing. UB40.
Yes.
And once you start, once your current, typical thing that when you're listening to something that is reggae, and then an older person will go, "Oh, you like reggae? Have you heard about Bob Marley?"
Yeah.
And then you go, "No." What's that?
Yeah.
And then that's what happens. So it's the elder generations knew about Bob Marley when all these bands were happening in Venezuela at the time, and then all my friends, we all connected a lot with I think we all had a Bob Marley CD in our cars, or our CD. What are we called? What are the names of the
portable disc player?
Yeah, the displays.
Yeah.
And mine was Exodus, and
So each of you, so you all had different albums of Marley going.
Yeah.
depending on who
We
was-
have a friend of mine had, you know, that big collection. It was like two big books with 4 or 6 CDs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it was a time where you have to borrow CDs and you'll fucking kill you if you don't
Yeah, you
return
don't
it.
bring it back. Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's great to, and that was a great thing about this. You would listen to the full album,
to the full album.
and you paid good money for that album. So you were,
Yeah.
and even if initially you went, you still listen, and then let it reveal itself.
To the point where you can listen, you know which song is next.
Yes.
When you ask me about my favorite albums, after I told you this one, Exodus, and the other one, I kept thinking that week about what albums as an album, not as an artist or a song, as a full album. What was a full album that was a big thing in my times? Because it's back to basics. Going to back to basics. One thing I want to tell you, when I went through a divorce or something, for some reason I started listening to the music I listened to when I was between 16 and 24. And I think it's like the brain wants to go back to a known place when there's a lot of uncertainty in your life.
Yeah.
And when you go back to your times, the music in a time that you were happy, you were in control.
Yes. There was a sense of certainty.
So it's like listening to that music again. So in my uni days, one album that and I think I didn't have it, but everybody around me had it, and I could listen to that album constantly. And my girlfriend at the time, who became my first wife, had the album, Moby Play.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's an album that I forgot that just by listening to one song, I know which one was next.
Yeah, right, yes.
It was an album that the whole album as a complete piece was great.
And it is interesting when you haven't heard an album in years and you go back to it, how easily it can just take you back to that time.
Yeah.
And the feelings and mindsets that you had from that time do resurface.
Yeah, and
it's
road trips you had.
Yes. Yeah. Experiences. Music is a powerful thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's and it's something too, like you said with Bob Marley too. It is a timeless thing as well.
Timeless.
Like you listen to a lot of the lyrics in this album, especially the first half of it, politically cut and paste to today.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting with a lot of the selections I find on this podcast that people pick. It's a lot of things from their childhood.
Yeah.
You know, things that resonate with us from, and the film that you've picked.
Yes.
Resonates with my childhood as well.
Yeah. The original, the real one, the Karate Kid. There's no Jackie Chan here.
And Will Smith's son. And did you see that version?
Why call it Karate Kid when it's Kung Fu? Like, why? Why?
Yeah, the Kung Fu Kid. They should have just called it that and made a different film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kung Fu
Panda Kid.
Yeah.
But this film, 1984.
Yeah, I was 5. But remember back in the day, 1979. Yeah. So back in the day, even in Venezuela, when you have 4 or 5 channels on national TV, open channels on the TV, and they will show movies.
That was like Australia back in the 80s. 4 or 5 channels.
Yeah. So every now and then you'll see the Karate Kid, or for some reason in Venezuela, Ghost was played a lot.
Oh, really? Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore.
And I did some karate when I was a kid, and I don't know what was first, the chicken or the egg, the movie or me wanting to do karate. But in Venezuela, it's very common. Karate is an activity that, back in my days, the girls did flamenco and the boys did karate.
Right.
When is not. So the alternatives for football, soccer, and baseball and volleyball were karate and flamenco.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me at school too. I had it wasn't karate, it was Kung Fu Wing Chun, and it was that was one of the electives at school. I'm doing this.
Nice.
And it was at the in Chinatown at the Wing Chun Academy, and I remember just not long before that, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, had been to the academy.
Wow.
And there were pictures of him at the academy.
The Crow.
Yeah, the Crow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, well if
Yeah.
it's good for Brandon, it's,
Of course.
you know, come on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was, but it's a great discipline that comes from it too. I think as a kid, it's a good thing as a kid to absorb that, that not only the physical side of it, but also the kind of mental workout that you get with it as well.
And in my case with karate, I see my sensei as an important male role model for me growing up, and it was, now that in hindsight I know that there was an element of meditation in karate when there's you sit down on seisa before you start, and there's a moment you go mukso. Mukso is like a concentrate, and he was like, hey, breathe through your nose and circle, and then touch the roof of your mouth with your tongue and straight position, and then if your feet hurt because you're sitting on seisa, so the what do you call the top of your foot, this bit.
Yeah, the top of your foot.
The top of yours is touching the floor, and
Yes.
and it's a hardwood floor, and then you're sitting on your heels, and it's painful. And it's like, he was back then he was telling a bunch of kids to back to your breathing when you're feeling the pain.
Yes.
And that stays there for some reason.
Sure.
And you start with that and you finish with that. And of course, a lot of kicking and kicking and punching.
Yeah.
But starting the training with that and finishing with that was very good for your teenage brain.
Sure.
So good.
And it's a good point that you make too, that idea of embracing the pain. Don't run from the pain. Like, it's there.
It's there.
Accept it.
Breathe.
Which is, as the older that we get, it's a good philosophy to maintain.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Just stay there. You know it's not going to be there forever. Just stay there. And the thing with in the movie, Mr. Miyagi, I think I did a show called The Fourth Floor. The Fourth Floor was when I turned 40. So in Venezuela, when you change into a new decade, you say, you say it's the 40s, welcome to the fourth floor. Oh, you're hitting the fifth floor. You're on the fifth floor now, on the sixth floor, in the 60s. That's how we say it. So it's like, oh, I'm fourth floor now. So I did a show about going back, turning 40, and what did it feel like? And I found out that our generation, so you were born in 1979?
78.
78.
Yeah.
We are neither Gen X or millennials. And it's there. It's called Zennials, because it's a transition generation.
Right.
We are the first generation of kids that grew up in a analog childhood but had a digital adolescence. Yeah, we were the first teenagers to wank on the internet.
Essentially.
But we knew there were other options.
Yes.
We knew
we're the best of both worlds.
We knew there was the
magazines,
the Brass and Things catalog. And the thing, I was like, yeah, it makes sense that we're a different generation because not of the digital and analog. My brother is Gen X. My wife is millennial. My brother's idea of a mentor character from his generation, either Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi. For my wife, it's Dumbledore.
Right.
For me, it's Mr. Miyagi.
And what a great mentor to have.
The best mentor. And very straightforward, not as ambiguous as Yoda.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's a lot more direct. He doesn't speak backwards with dyslexia.
Well, he had some metaphors, and if you want this side of the road,
but
you get squished like grape.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Karate do or do not.
Yes.
No maybe.
Yes. Yeah, there's a crossover there. Universal thoughts.
Yes.
But I like the fact too that he wasn't, that Miyagi would be, go and do this thing. Don't ask questions, just go and do it. And then afterwards he would reveal the reason behind doing it. You know, which, you know, with a lot of things like in martial arts, it's like you're doing it over and over again. And then one day, it clicks.
Yeah.
Now I understand why I did that like 1,000 times.
Yeah. And we do that, we tell that to if somebody who's starting to do stand-up, what if you just gotta do the open mics.
Get the flight hours down.
Yeah, do the open mics. I loved explaining technicalities and the whys and the hows, but in the end, they don't make sense until you have the flight hours first. It's just go there, die on stage, feel terrible.
Yes.
Go home trying
question yourself.
Question yourself.
What am I doing?
And start to feel the audience to see how do they react. Just to know that you're no longer a funny person. You're a comedian. Like it's not that you can stand there and be funny. And no, you have to give the audience all the information so they can go there and create that moment to. It takes so long to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's go learn, and be annoyed, and
frustrated.
That's the word I was looking for. Frustration is such a big part of learning.
Yeah, it is. It is. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Why? Why?
Yeah. It is. But you need to go through that frustration to understand too. Like if you got like my wife, she is a magician, and she's up on stage, and we worked on some comedy magic stuff to do, and the other night she had an audience, and just a flat crowd, you know, we all have it, but she hadn't really experienced like a crowd that's like not laughing at the points that they should be laughing at, or the applause breaks that they should be. But I said, that's a great thing for you to experience, you know. And she goes, it felt horrible. I'm questioning myself. I go, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
And you got to learn how to be able to navigate that and feel that, you know. It's it's interesting. Like I found, well, the difference with martial arts though is that when you start, you're doing the basics. Yeah. You know, so you have to, like, I remember when starting like Wing Chun. What's your stance? You know?
Basic stance.
If you haven't got the right stance, forget about building on top of it. You know, it's like a house. If you ain't got the foundation there, don't worry about the tiles on the roof. Don't worry about, you see them doing this fancy stuff. Don't worry about that. Just get your stance right first. Yeah. And if I can come up and push on you and you can hold it, and you know, then okay, all right, you got something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is so true. I don't know what happened in our times where martial arts were a big thing. Like if you think about all the action heroes when we were the audience for action hero movies. We got Van Damme, Wesley Snipes, Steven Seagal. We had some. Martial arts was a big thing.
Big thing. Bruce Lee. When I was at Bruce Lee was like the man when I was a kid. Like they brought him out on VHS, all of his films, and I was just like, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen.
The coolest. Yeah, it hits the nerves. Yeah. It hit the whole martial art hits the nerves. So even though I didn't get to any high level in karate, I kept coming back. I left it and then kept coming back when I was in uni, and then I kept coming back.
Likewise.
Like I just wanted to just be in that situation, and then you learn so much philosophy and things. The whole thing about learning, when you said back to basics, we didn't talk about martial arts, and you mentioned back to basics, and now we're talking about back to basics, right? Something I learned about karate, you know, the black belt is when you start learning. So all the colors and all the years before you turn black is just to be prepared. Is the foundation, right? Yeah. And something I didn't know at the time, the black belts it's actually a white belt covered in very delicate silk black thread. Black silk thread. Right. That's proper order. Yeah. No, silk black thread. That's English. And the orders of that's another podcast.
That's a whole other show.
And it turns out so it looks pitch black and shiny when you're wearing it, and that's the one you're gonna wear for the rest of your life, right? If you continue practicing. The thread starts wearing off and breaking down,
exposing
the white.
Yes.
So if you see videos of masters that are like 5th, 6th, 7th dan in karate, their belt is almost white. It's a black belt that wore off and it's almost white.
Right.
And it's because you go back to basics. And when those guys are doing the seminars, and you're excited because the 7th dan, the master of my master, is gonna teach me something new, the motherfucker goes back to show me your stance.
Yes. Yes.
You wanna do fly kicks and pirouettes,
roundhouse.
And a friend of mine, he's a comedian, musician, and we did karate together. He told me that the process of learning is like a spiral going up. So if you start, let's say, there's a column, right? So you start in point A, and then you go around, you start learning, and then you keep going up, and then you turn back to
point A.
Yeah. But higher.
High, little, yeah.
And then you keep going back because you understand the basics more, and you understand more. But you go back to basics, and then you're back to basics, but you're going to a higher level.
Yes.
On a higher level. So and we do it in stand-up as well. Like once we get to the point and go, okay, I just want to do this. For example, I want to be able to do a show where people are laughing constantly every 30 seconds. That's like the perfect game that is impossible. But you want
you aspire for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I got these big laughters, but I want that, but I want doon. And that's back to basics. That's what you want.
And I think that's a good philosophy for life, because we're never going to be perfect at whatever it is we do. Yeah. We're never going to know everything. We're never going to be the greatest at whatever, but that shouldn't negate the aspiration to go for it, you know, and try your best and give it your best shot.
Yeah.
And it is life is a losing game at the end of the day. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to happen. But still, why not strive for doing the best we can with what we got? You know, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Even though we know that at the end of the day, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
You know? But so what, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
You want to earn that certificate of participation in
Yeah.
life.
They go, all right, I did what I could with what I had to work with.
Yeah. It's like you want that certificate of participation. You lost,
but
you did your best.
Gold star, well done.
Yeah.
This film it was interesting years later reading about, there's the person who produced this film, Jerry Weintraub. I read his book years ago, and a great book, by the way. It's called When I Stop Talking, You'll Know I'm Dead. And the stuff that this guy created, it is so inspirational. Like, he was the first guy to tour Elvis Presley, and he was only in his 20s.
Wow.
And he wanted to tour the King. The Colonel Tom Parker, nah, not interested. He just kept on calling, and eventually he said, have what I think it was like $2 million. This is back in the 70s. $2 million is a lot of money. Tomorrow for me. He managed to raise that money and bring it to him. Okay, you can tour the King. And so he toured Elvis, and I remember seeing his name on it's on Elvis on Tour. It was called. It was a classic concert film, and seeing Jerry Weintraub's name on that, thinking, who is this guy? So he's always been, and like he was behind, he toured Frank Sinatra and put him in Madison Square Garden. He was watching, and when he got to this part in his book where he was writing about it, he says he was watching this news story about this kid that was bullied who lived in the valley in Los Angeles, and he was sick of being bullied, so he went and found this sensei and studied martial arts and went back and beat the bullies up. And he's like, this is the greatest idea. So he found this guy and said, here's the premise, write this film. And so thanks to Jerry Weintraub, we have you know.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah. He was the reason
Thank
behind
you.
that
I
film.
didn't know about this.
Yeah,
man. This is great.
Yeah, and he later went on and he produced the Ocean's 11 films later on, you
Yeah.
know, with Brad Pitt and
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
So but just this guy, but just reading this, as we're talking about giving it your best shot. This is a guy who lives by that, you know.
Yeah.
Just up against the odds continuously, but these creative ideas and so many things throughout that we would have connected to throughout our lives. Going, man, this is the guy behind that.
Yeah.
So he was thanks to Jerry Weintraub that we had the Karate
Thank
Kid.
you, Jerry Weintraub. There's a thing. I think every generation needs a typical hero's journey.
Yes.
Story.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is Star Wars and this is Harry Potter. Like there's not
back to Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, back to Joseph Campbell. So it's the kid that doesn't know that this is not living it's not in a right place. Gets a call to action. There's a mentor that helps.
Mm-hmm. Has to go on the quest, the journey.
To go on the quest, the journey. Face his own fears, face his own dragon, and then go back to square one, but being a better human. And the wants and the needs, what the character wants, what the character really needs. So it's the same thing. And I think this is as Joseph Campbell figured it out, it's an endless, it's an ageless story.
Yes.
It's just different names and different forms, but it's the same. It's the same. The same message, the same story.
But it's great that story can, like, I don't know if you've seen Cobra Kai, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a bit tired of it. Like the latest season is a bit.
I've only watched
much.
a couple of episodes of the latest season. I haven't seen it all.
But the first 3 Cobra Kai seasons,
yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Loved it.
And it's great that because it does have that template of that. That's what everything you just explained is once again told in those first 3 series.
Yeah.
And
adapted to a cyberbullying era.
Yeah.
And those what kids are living today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's had the same effect like that Bruce Lee, the Karate Kid, Van Damme, all of those people had on us when we were younger. Like, is karate? I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I wonder if it's had that, you know, if everyone's. And people are more MMA now. That's more their kind of, you know.
There's no beauty in MMA.
No.
I think MMA destroyed martial arts because it's too effective.
Yes.
Like it doesn't.
There's no grace.
There's no form. It's just. It's super effective and it's the top. It's the number one if you want to. You know,
annihilate someone.
Absolutely. But not just the grace, the philosophy behind and the history. Like I remember doing karate. Like for me, it wasn't about. I just enjoy being there and learning. Like the exams, when they ask you, so who created this style of karate and how karate was born, and then you have to, as a kid, my sensei was. And the documentation to study for the test, that was my YouTube back in the day.
Sure.
And then you learn about India and Bodhidharma and Buddha and how this. I would have never heard about Bodhidharma if it wasn't about karate and just learning some things in Japanese. There was a bit of Japanese vocabulary in the tests. I love that. And being flexible and being the only one of your friends who can do the split like Van Damme.
Did you get to that point where you could do it? Wow.
But not on chairs, but on the floor,
On the floor, yeah.
Yeah, I could do it.
Man, I couldn't, that's admirable.
Yeah. Oh, my sensei was big on stretching and
Flexibility, yeah.
There was a lot of stretching.
Have you still got it?
Almost.
Yeah, that's great. So you've held on.
Yeah, I don't do the full T, but it's pretty split.
Yeah, that's great.
For a 45-year-old guy.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Now, you said you've never been in a real fight?
No, only in
sparring.
Kumite sparring,
Yeah, likewise. Well, that's what they would teach, don't fight.
Yeah.
Any way that you can get out of a fight, get out of the fight. Yeah. It was,
the best fight is the one you avoid. That's what he used to say, the one you avoid. Get you out of trouble.
But in the back of my mind, I've always thought, if I was if push comes to shove, and say I'm with my wife, and something happens where someone, you know, is trying to attack her or me, or you know, something like, can I, you know, I wonder if it'll come back.
You do some sticky hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Sticky hands, do the cheese
Yeah,
out.
touch me here. Let's.
No. Grab me like that. All right, there we go. Well, that's great, and it's great that you've still held on to those learnings later in life too, that you got from karate.
Oh, from Mr. Miyagi.
Miyagi, the great, and he was a great comedian too. Like
Pat Morita, yeah. He was a comedian.
Yeah, he had a character called the Hip Nip.
And he was the complete opposite of Mr. Miyagi. Who was cheeky,
totally mischievous. Yeah. And
womanizer.
But that's what happened actually. Jerry Weintraub, when he wanted, I forget the actor's name. God, I was drawing blanks. Great Japanese actor. He was in a lot of the Akira Izugawa films.
Kurosawa.
Yeah,
Akira
Kurosawa. Sorry.
What's his name? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. And he had great comedic ability too. Like but they brought him in to do the
chemistry test or the audition.
Everyone's talking on his behalf, you know, the whole time. And they all talk like, here, have a drink. Do you like the drink? Yes, he likes the drink very much, you know. And then Weintraub figured out, he doesn't speak English. This isn't going to work, you know. We're not going to be able to overdub this to make it work. It's not. Yeah. And he was a great actor, so then when they said Pat,
voice.
He was like, no way. What? Him? No. He ain't doing it. And he was adamant, no, he's not doing it. And they eventually got him in for a screen test, and he just blew him away. And he went,
karate do, not karate, maybe. Karate do, karate do not. Daniel-san. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What a great movie.
And then behind that, we have to reveal your favorite, book.
I see a pattern here.
Books.
Yeah.
There's
This
is admirable. The fact that you won 4 books which make up your favorite book.
Yeah.
Which is none other than The Faithful and the Fallen.
John
book series.
Yes.
So tell me about this. I'm unawares with this series.
So this is epic fantasy. Epic fantasy. It's Lord of the Rings is the Bible of epic fantasy.
Right.
And the Wheel of Time. Those are like the origins of epic fantasy. Right. So fantasy is different from sci-fi. Just for me, my explanation: fantasy stinks. You can smell it. You can smell the sweat underneath an armor. And horses and mud, and mold and humidity and crusty blood on chainmail armor. And sci-fi smells of fumes. Fumes.
It's like a vacuum. A visual vacuum. Yeah. Whereas this is relatable. You know, there's a historical. There would be a historical connection to all this.
Yes. So this
like everything you just explained, it's like yes, there's something in our ancestry that connects to that.
Absolutely. So this is again as Karate Kid or Star Wars or Harry Potter is a typical trope of hero's journey, but there are 2 heroes. And what I love about this quadrilogy, is how 2 well-intentioned potential heroes can change because of the people who are around them and their influences. And it's a great way to. It's an amazing, basic, chosen one, good and evil story. Very typical, but it's so well made, and the world is so well made, and it's written in the POVs of not those two characters but many other characters. It's very refreshing. Every chapter is it's what the other character in a different part of the world
views them.
It's what's happening in this part of the
Oh,
world,
right,
what's happening in
right,
this part of the
okay.
world. It's more
Oh,
like
wow.
Game of Thrones kind of,
Right.
And there's other characters that are not even the main characters that you actually fell in love with, of how amazing story these characters have. And there's a character called McQueen or McKean that I would love to see a book of, just that story of the whole story, just that guy. Again, martial arts and mentors. There's there, like, you know, the forms in karate. There's probably what do you call the forms in Wing Chun?
There's
It's like a dance.
Yeah.
Right? With when you repeat the forms, and there's different. There is a sword dance that one of these two characters has to practice every morning and repeat every morning.
Right.
And it's like the morning meditation and exercise with sword dance, and it turns out that it's a different way of using the sword. And there's many there's a couple of talking animals.
Okay. So it does have a mystical element to it.
Yeah.
In
So
that
there's some there is fantasy usually has magic. But Game of Thrones has dragons, you know,
sure.
So there's a bit
and also, there is that magic element to it.
Yeah. So there's I don't want to bring too many spoilers if anyone listening to that. But there's a big world where this is my interpretation, that there's different people in this world that ones are very similar to the Roman world.
Okay.
Ones are more Norse. Like giants and Vikings. Other ones are more like
medieval.
UK medieval.
Yes.
Others are the ones with this sword dance. They are pretty much symbolism of Japanese samurais.
Right.
So there's different ways and different rules and different ways of fighting and different characters. And there's so much. It's so entertaining. Like, it was like I missed. I love like watching Game of Thrones and Vikings and all this and Gladiator. I was very enjoying Gladiator when the second one came. I really enjoyed the movie, but I missed that sort of stinky world that's very raw, but I love things like honor and all that.
Those themes.
And when the process of learning and liking the character, when a character learns and evolves and makes decisions of their own and starts making mistakes and finds themselves in constant points of, should I go this way or that way in my life?
Sure.
There's so many of that.
Like coming of age stories.
Yeah. To the point where I love this sort of. So there's a sequel of this, which is 100 years later.
Oh, right.
And there's 3 books as a trilogy. Great as well. And this author has another one called The Bloodsworn Saga, which is 3 books. 3 or 4. 3 books. And it's heavily based on Norse mythology.
Right.
So there's the berserkers, the sons of the wolf, the sons of the bear, the sons of the wolf, the sons of the dragons, and they all have this animal inside that I see it as interpreting as Joseph Campbell would be. That animal inside is your ego, is your terrestrial being, and the other thing inside of you that controls that animal is your heavenly being, is your balance. Is we come from something and then we came to this physical world. So it's the physical and the metaphysical, and I really enjoy those characters. That I think fantasy, which is fiction, you can learn a lot about life if you
Sure.
if you put a lot of it, because they're all mythology.
Sure.
Like these are all the mythology of today. Like in 200 years, this is a story that can be told as a, and many other books like this.
Sure.
This is just, so
Yeah,
I got
Oh,
myself a
you-
tattoo of.
that's great. So it's a stick man with a sword.
It's a stick man with a sword. So it's a generic sword wielding superhero. This could
Yeah,
be.
I like that.
This could be any samurai, or this could be Luke Skywalker, or this could be Corbin from one of the characters in this series, and is the hero with a tool slaying a dragon that is their fear. So it's for me this is a reminder of to slay my own dragon, to tame my internal dragon, and let the dragon, or the internal ego animal, to work when it's in the right place of time.
That's great.
And then the human is taming with the sword.
I love the fact though that it's a stick person.
A stick,
Yeah. So it can be
anything,
anyone.
anyone.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a close up with the.
Yeah. I'll get
Okay.
one. We'll get the close up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So I look at all of this, and one thing that I find, like, how do you remember all the names, places, like having a mind map of everything? Like that, I find so complicated with it.
So most fantasy books have a map
Right.
that you can go back to,
Right.
and the good ones, because they know that we go through this, will have a list of characters.
Okay. So there's
So
reference.
So Malice is the first one. Oh, where's Malice? This is the first one. And when you start reading the second one, which is I think is this one, Wrath of Rain. So if you get
that's book 2. Yeah.
So these are the different swords of this. You see this. So this sword is the equivalent to the Japanese, also set inspired in, but these are the giants. These are the medieval Vikings, and these are the Romans.
Right.
But they never tell you that. You just figure it out.
Sure.
You can go back to the characters and see the list and see, oh, this is from this group of characters. This is the son of the da da da.
Okay,
It's not that hard. But if you ask me now, I read these a few years ago, and if you ask me now, I just know the story, and I'm just showing you. This is like a photo from a travel. Like imagine if I went overseas, I took a photo.
Yeah.
And this is the photo, and I'm like, this was a fun trip.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm telling you, I've been there. I had fun. It was great. You should go there.
Yeah.
You should go visit. That's what books, like how I see books. Like those are when you see them in your bookshelf, you go, oh, I've been there. I've been to that world. And I met these guys
And you have that, because we have to use our imagination so much when reading, we create that visual landscape. So it is like a memory of a trip, of a travel.
Yeah. And with that, so I read at night. And so I was never a young reader.
Right.
No, that started after the divorce. That happened 19 years ago, where I couldn't sleep, and I noticed that the phone wasn't a good idea.
Right.
So yeah, so when I started reading, I noticed that the brain gets tired from reading, and you fall asleep. Mm-hmm. So as I think I said before when we were thinking about daydreaming, like when you are actively taking things, it's out of your head, like it's in a page. So you have to draw the information out by reading and then processing it to understand. So there is no space to fly away. That my mind goes away many times, but I'm like, I didn't get what that the last 3 lines or last paragraph was about, so I have to go back. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, it's the same as meditation. Meditation is focus on your breathing. When your mind wanders, come back. When your mind wanders, come back. So for me, reading, not listening to an audiobook, reading.
Yes.
it's like that, because I can be thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner and reading at the same time, but I'm getting nothing. And then but if I'm interested in the story, I'm like, fuck, I'm thinking about dinner. I'm just reading. Just go back and then read. So it's like that active meditation of controlling the brain. Like I'm drifting away. Come back. This is, and that thing, it's exhausting for the brain, and you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And the brain's like, this is time to, and I've been doing that for the last 9-10 years, and I haven't had 3 nights without reading a book in the last 10 years. Like I finish one, I go back to back, next one.
Yeah. No, it is, and it's a great thing. I did the same thing, especially when you're on the road, on tour. You're in some motel, hotel room in the middle of wherever the hell we end up. And it's nice having it's like a comfort before going, when you get back to your room, rather than this lonely hotel room. It's like, I've got something to...
I'm back to this world that nobody knows about. It's just me and this guy.
It's a very personal thing.
Yeah. I love it.
So you just on that point you said before you got divorced, you never really read that much, or you didn't? No. So what do you feel it was the shift that took you towards? Was it the escape into that world? Was there a comfort in it, or?
Well, yes, the escape, the comfort, I always saw reading as a very difficult... I saw readers the same way I see people who go to the gym every day. Like, wow, how do you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's people out there who go like, they don't read, like, I can't read, like it's... I was like that, but I was like, I know there's a lot of great stuff in those books, and even without being a reader, I always loved to go to bookstores, and I was like, I wish I can do this. And the loneliness of being on the road, because after the separation, I went on the road for 4 years, as in no fixed address.
All right.
So I felt that comfort from the books, and plus sleeping better, plus having the time of disconnecting in an active way, because you can disconnect with your phone, but it's not healthy. It's different, because you're not doing much. You're just opening the gates to information and distraction, and you're not actively doing it.
You're not investing anything.
You're not investing anything. Yeah. So with books, it's like you're carving something and taking the info out of it, and then working on it in your brain. And company, loneliness, wanting to go to a different place physically, and then plus being proud of myself of finally becoming a reader, what I always wanted to be one, because I knew there was cool stuff, but I thought I didn't have the attention span or the patience. I think more patience than attention span, because I don't have ADHD and
no dyslexia,
it's the patience.
Right.
And I think I needed to be older to find the beauty in patience.
Yeah.
Because usually most books, just like series on the telly, the Act 1 is boring.
It's laying all the establishment for
and you have to commit. You have to, this too shall pass. The fun bits are coming soon.
Stick it out.
Yeah, stay there. And now every time I start a new story and I go, okay, I just gotta...
I know the drill.
Yeah, I know the drill. I just gotta stick there until that moment where you miss going back, and you can't wait to just be by yourself on your book and just and doing things. For example, now I drive a car. Sometimes I drive to the gigs, but when I'm happy with a book, I take the train because I want
take the long way.
Yeah, I take the long way to the gig so I can read my book.
And there is something special about, for me, I like reading an actual physical book.
Same.
Instead of a tablet or a screen or something. Having the physical book, it's something, I don't know, there's something organic about it.
Same. Same. It's a lot. I feel it's a lot better than ebooks. The only good thing about ebooks is that you click on a word and you have a dictionary.
Yeah.
And second language.
Sure.
If it wasn't for my wife, I'd go, "What is this word?" And
well, that's great, mate. It's great that you going through the divorce and the challenge of that something good came from it.
Great.
That you did something that, because a lot of people would, for you, it's like, oh no, I'm going through this trouble and this turmoil. I'll turn to books. People will turn to alcohol, to drugs, to sex, to something that's going to create a problem down the line for them. Where
Absolutely.
it's like, you've turned to something that's sort of enriching and nourishing.
And second marriage, my wife Alicia, when we went on our first date, we connected through books because I was already addicted to them. And
great.
And she was a child and she's been a reader. A bookworm all her life
from the get-go. Yeah.
And we're very proud of our bookshelves. And date night for us will be go out for dinner and then go to a bookstore and hang out and then buy a book, and then after buying the book go get some ice cream or have another drink and just enjoy that when we're gonna get home.
That's great. Yeah. There is, like, I was with my wife Erica in Brisbane earlier this week, and one of my favourite bookstores is up there, Archive Books. Have you been in that one?
No.
Oh, next time you're in Brisbane,
okay,
I'll send you the details on it. There's like over 1 million books in there, and it's one of those old-fashioned just rows of books.
Those are so cool. Yeah.
And Erica was just finding all these books that she was, oh my God, they've got like a first edition of this one, and it's just, and it's always, I always feel in those experiences, you just I want to be in there for hours. There's something nourishing about being around all of these great pieces of literature and photography and travel and biography, and there's something special about that.
And there's something it's so cool to be in a place where the other people are, when you hang out with someone who is excited about something, passionate about something, doesn't matter what it is, unless it's unless it's about
going to a neo-Nazi rally.
Yeah, neo-Nazi rallies.
Connecting over that.
Talking about vaccines and I'm talking about something cool. Like it's like the example with Aidan Jones, and he's talking about Chopin. Like, I don't know anything about, just tell me, and he's just excited about Chopin. And being in a bookstore, there's so many people excited about their thing. And everybody's excited and passionate about either their crime books or the history books or the mangas and comics or in my case epic fantasy or sci-fi, and everybody's there. You can hear the conversations of the people next to you. Oh yeah, I read this one, it was crazy, and then someone telling the story to another one. And if the bookstore is a bit empty, you get the people who work there to talk to you about the books, and they talk with so much passion. And you're like, I gotta buy this book. And
it's great that we still have those bookstores. It reminds me of going to the VHS store. When you had the guy behind the counter who knew all the recommendation, but then you had all the different sections that everyone would. But we don't have that anymore.
The blockbusters.
But we have the bookstores.
Well,
this has been great, mate. This is.
I can talk about this.
I know we could keep on going for hours. But I appreciate you, taking that. And like I've said before, I've always enjoyed, whenever we've run into each other, whether it be in an airport or on a cruise ship or wherever, I really enjoy our conversations.
What are your kind of books?
My kind of books?
Yeah.
I'm reading at the moment.
I know we're closing, but I want to know. I want to know your three. Your movie.
What my favorite? Oh man, I haven't even talked about them on any of these podcasts. That's a hard one. But I'll tell you the book that I'm reading at the moment is the follow-up to the film Heat 2. Yeah. The Michael Mann film. Did you ever see that with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
But that film affected me when I was younger, when I saw it in the cinema, and I'm just reading the sequel to it, and it's a prequel to that, but it's also a sequel to just after 1995, what happened, but then it goes up into 2000, And it's been interesting reading. A lot of it focuses on the character of Chris, Val Kilmer's character.
Yeah.
So, and I just picture Val Kilmer when reading that, and then
He just
him
passed.
passing away.
Yeah.
So I've felt this sort of connection to Val
Yeah.
of late, reading
Wow.
this character of his, and yeah, it's been it's timely.
Vale Val.
Yeah, Vale Val. VV. Yeah. Yeah, so that one to me, and it's great. It's got. I'm emotionally invested in it, but it's got great action in it, and it's very. It's also very. It's just great insight into the mindset of the Al Pacino character, Vincent Hanna, and what he goes through with his job and being a detective, and just the mental and emotional toll of trying to maintain a relationship but being in such a dark place and not wanting to bring that home, but it does come home. And so I find that as much as I love the film, I find that this book is giving a lot deeper insight into the mindset of these people.
You recommend rewatching the film, then starting reading the book?
Totally. I went and saw they had a re-release of the film recently, and I went with a good friend of mine who's a director. And we saw it on the big screen at the Orpheum Theatre in Sydney, which is Quentin Tarantino's favourite cinema in Australia. It's a classic, great venue. It's an old Art Deco venue, and I always go there to watch retro re-release of films. So Heat was the last one. So we went and saw last year Back to the Future, and that was fantastic. Seeing that with a packed cinema Friday night, young kids. People of our generation, but everyone, like genuine laughter and the kids laughing and applauding, and it was like watching a film in the 80s, right? It was like that kind of atmosphere of an 80s film. But seeing Heat on the big screen like that and digitally remastered on 30mm film, it was brilliant.
Great.
It was, and
then now I'm excited about this. I want to do it. I want to watch it.
And then reading Heat 2 after I bought it ages ago, Heat 2, and it was just sitting on my bookshelf, like many books that I have just waiting to be read on the bookshelf.
I have the same.
And after the day after I watched it, I'm like, bam, got it off the bookshelf and just immersed myself in it, and it's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly. What about the movie?
Favorite movie? It's so hard.
You can't say Heat.
No, not Heat. What's your favorite album? Soundtrack to Heat. It's all Heat. It's
what's your favorite air conditioning setting?
Heat. Well, the favorite film. That's a very hard one. I have favorite films. One that just comes to mind now.
Cheese toasty film.
The one that comes to mind off the top of my head would be Stand By Me, which was a film which was based on a Stephen King short book called The Body.
Yeah, but sometimes I have to find the name of the book of the film in Spanish, because sometimes
it's a coming of age story about these best friends that go to find this dead body by the side of a railroad track, and it's
yes,
River Phoenix.
River Phoenix, yes.
That had a big impact on me when I was a kid.
I remember this film. But I need to find the title in Spanish.
But it was I've got so many favorite, like The Godfather. I remember watching The Godfather when I was a kid. I was like 9 or something when I watched it for the first time.
I love it, still love
and
it.
Just being like, and I wasn't old enough to understand all of the themes in it, but I knew enough at that age to just be enamored by it. And Marlon Brando, I was like, who is this guy? Is like incredible. And then wanting to know more about Marlon Brando, and watching like On the Waterfront, which was one of the greatest films I've ever seen. So it's and then like Al Pacino, like watching him in it, and watching the journey of this character, this kind of guy that comes back who's this great kind of he's served his time for his country, and he has these kind of morals and ethics to him. But then seeing the story arc of him becoming, the Godfather at the end.
As I said, like there's a great thing about the people. Your environment.
Yes.
And there's some duties attached to that environment that they
shape your journey and what you become.
Under the choices and the decisions you make.
Yeah.
He could have step out and leave the family.
Sure.
He was the one that wasn't assigned to be that.
No, not at all. But
Yeah.
he gravitated towards it, and then to see in Godfather 2, and then seeing how far he'll take it, and Fredo. It was you, Fredo.
Broke my heart.
Yeah, and just
The kiss of death.
yeah, yeah. So that was one, and I love Karate Kid. Was actually one of the first. I think the first film was Blues Brothers that I ever rented on VHS when I was a kid, which I loved the Blues Brothers.
Yeah,
that was like one of my. But then Karate Kid, I think, was the second film. I remember we were going on a road trip where my parents had just divorced or just separated. And we went on a road trip, my brother and I and my mum, and we watched Karate Kid before taking off. And I remember it just sticking with me on that little.
Is that the one going to Okinawa? The second one?
No, that was the first one.
Oh, the first one.
The first one, yeah. But it just stayed in my mind though that you know throughout that trip that we took with my mum up north. So yeah, there's so many films. I could do a whole podcast just talking about all my favourite films. But
Great.
yeah, but this has been great.
Thank you so much, man.
I've loved it. Great chatting with you.
Yeah, it was great.